So this is Sloth, one of the homunculi on the evil team in Full Metal Alchemist. This is his starting zone. There's a whole bunch of rocks and rats and spiders to kill. It's a private little area where he cannot be ganged up on by the other players because he's really slow and vulnerable early, so I made this little area for him. He can choose to go out into any of these warps out of this private grinding area he has here to get out onto the map into any of the areas where he thinks he'll be safe at the start once he hits level 10. This spider boss up here was just to give something more engaging for Sloth to do during the starts of this little private grinding time. It used to be stronger, but I made it weaker because some people were dying to it, and it's the starting area. Obviously, it should not be that strong. But it does give players something slightly more engaging to do if they have the time. Thing is, almost everybody decided they wanted to do it, so I had to accommodate for that in my design. So Sloth is really, really slow, as someone named Sloth would be. However, he can move really fast. His first ability just increases his movement and attack speed by a whole lot with that text up above his head while it's in effect. He has this big dash that lets him go through stuff. And he has this big elbow drop, which will help him go a little bit farther. I had to compromise. It's like a short little jump like that. The point of it is it has a long telegraph, so enemies can avoid it, and he has to predict a little bit where they're going to go. See, like, those are obviously just mindless creeps, but a player would have plenty of time to avoid that if they weren't stunned by someone else. His other big movement ability is digging. Can set up a tunnel here, just get some distance away from it, and then I can dig to it, which is a channel, and it takes longer to get there based off how far away I am from it. So he has more than enough movement to move around really fast in a fight, which is good because he's on the side with less players, and for actually moving when he's outside of a fight, he can just go back to his base or whatever with dig whenever he wants. Originally I had it so dig did damage when he comes up, but then players just only used it for the damage. They didn't use it for movement, which was not at all how it was intended, and just had to tell people, oh, don't use this for moving, just use it for damage, which meant, yeah, that's pretty badly designed if they have to be told to do that. So I just changed it into its current form where it's only used for movement. Just the more interesting things, like people would just use it in place like this. Let me show you. Yeah, they would just do that, and that would just be a generic stomp around yourself to do damage. That wasn't exciting at all, so we got rid of that. His other big offensive abilities, because we've gone over all of his movement abilities, this big spin, this giant area of effect attack. This does by far the most damage of anything in his kit in giant range. But it's a channel, so you can interrupt it. He can get hit by one stun and keep going. He has to get hit twice to be knocked out of it, so that's something. It forces people to focus him, and if they don't, they take a whole ton of damage. This last spell isn't technically a movement thing, but it will drag things to him like a hook if he hits with it right in front of him. If he misses the hook part of it, which does most of the damage, then he'll get a cooldown refund like 5 seconds into it. It doesn't take nearly as long if he misses with it, because you're on the bad team. You really can't afford to be missing that many skills. And he's also really tanky, so he has a skill where he goes and takes a nap like this. I'll demonstrate by lowering his health really quick. Takes a nap, takes way less damage while he's napping and going to sleep like that, recovers about half his health, then gets up. The big thing I added with this skill is he has a silence on him after it first happens, because a lot of people would just use the sleeping ability, then just immediately dash away, which it's pretty much, it's just too cheap. He got away a little too easily, so he gets silenced when he first gets up, so he can't immediately dash away. Yeah, his general theme is just surviving and being able to participate in team fights, because he has tons of movements when it counts, even if he's normally slow, and he's super tanky. As far as damage, he really needs to be in a group so that he can take the focus off of other people. Because he's on the bad guy team, he still does tons of damage in his own right, but compared to the other guys, he doesn't do quite as much. Anyway, he feels like my character that has the most strong theming and play style for what he does, and I've really enjoyed working on him, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing about him.